Thank you very much for your time for today's webinar. In this webinar, as you have seen, we will be talking about eliminating data silos and harnessing the power of augmented supply chain. Today, every business has its own downstream and upstream supply chain, and every business is connected horizontally or vertically to collaborate and exchange the information with multiple parties, including partners, customers, their subsequent customers, and beyond. So today's scenario is more to do with the shared and collaborative economy, where businesses requires hyper connected ecosystem. Okay, and they need to build the right bridges between their internal parties and external parties to enable collaboration, communication, convenience, and transparency within the ecosystem. Okay, and this hyper connected ecosystem is very much required to create the user experience. And there are three things. One is the integration, second is the automation, and third is the experience. So we believe that without business critical integrations, we cannot enable the experience for our people. So welcome everyone. I am Pavan Agrawal, your host, and today we will hear from our industry experts why business critical integrations are very much critical in today's and future's context. Okay, so with me I have multiple stakeholders. Fredric. Fredric comes from Nordics market, and he will be talking about the need of the data-driven augmented supply chain to get the shared success from network economy. I have Lucas with me. He has 20 plus years of experience and he is following the European market since 20 plus years. And he has helped multi-billion organizations in optimizing the supply chains. He will be talking about how one could harness the power of augmented supply chain through seamless connectivity. With us today we have Allard Nayof. Allard Nayof is from Nayof Wasing. Nayof Wasing is one of our customers, and they are specialists in bulk transport by road, rail, and water. Allard will be sharing his experience on how the business critical integrations help them enable holistic multi-party network and marketplace, and how DiLX as an organization help them in their digitalization journey. At the end of the session, we have Q&A, questions and answers, where our industry stalwart Hari Luijk and our supply chain technology champion Shaival Trivedi will answer our questions. So if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat window, and I will pick up one by one, and our experts will answer to your questions. So before beginning, we will start the poll. So this is a simple one question. I will request the audience to answer the poll.
60% of the audience, so we have around 90 people on the webinar, and out of those 60% people are saying that to get the shared success, the critical success factor is multi-level data flow and seamless connection across the chain. At the same time, since it is a multiple choice, 70% people are saying that capabilities for composing and orchestrating the services is critical success factor, and 40% people are saying that collaborative workflow based applications are required. The remaining two choices are 22% and 11%. So we can clearly see that how business critical integrations are important in today's network economy to achieve the shared success. With this, I will invite Fredric to talk on basically need of data-driven economy and data-driven augmented supply chain. Over to you, Fredric.
Thank you so much, Pavan, for your introduction, and happy to see you all on the webinar. So my name is Fredric Suarez, and I work as a business development manager at DiLX, a gateway group company. We are a company has for many years worked with the logistic companies and helping them with their digital transformation. So today we're going to talk about how your company can get the competitive edge on the market, by eliminating data silos and harness the power of augmented supply chain, the future-proofing of your system. Next, please. So what is augmented supply data technology? Next, please. Traditional logistic and transportation companies have different systems that support the supply chain. It could be anything from invoicing, sourcing, customer systems, transport system, shipping system, payment, goods, sales. All of these systems are working quite good, but separate. This is data silo system environment, which gives a few negative things to the organization. Lack of connectivity with shippers, carriers, customs, process around data and information sharing in logistic chain is usually quite heavy and costly. Challenge to handle large amount of data feeds from different systems and organize them. And hard to exchange data foster cooperation in logistic chain end to end. Next, please. So what is needed now is the latest technology to get a competitive edge for your company on a highly competitive market. Next, please. Data augmented supply chain technology takes traditional data silo logistics systems environment and digital transform them into an ecosystem of system where data is seamlessly shared between systems. And now it gets interesting. Next, please. By connecting data from different sources, you can create services that brings value into your logistic business. Some example can be climate data to get more accurate information when shipments are supposed to get on time regarding whether or not. You can adapt sensor data from your truckings to know when they're going into service or how many miles they've gone in real time. Next, please. By connecting all data silos in your company with data-driven augmented supply chain, you future-safe your ecosystem of logistics system for now demands, system ready to create services for 2020 demands. Example, autonomous deliveries, autonomous vehicles, or digitalized trucking, technologies that you're pretty familiar with. But you also secure systems for next generation demands, system ready to create services for 2022 demands. Example can be machine learning, 5G technology, and 3D printing. Print your products on your dock instead of ordering from factory. And future demands, system ready for creating services on 2025 demands. Example can be cellular vehicle to anything technology, cognitive computing, or immersive reality, which is virtual reality for companies. Thanks for your attention, and now over to Lucas, who will talk about and show the different parts of augmented supply chain. Thanks so much for my part.
Thank you, Fredric. My name is Lucas Avink. I recently joined the DiLX organization, and before joining DiLX, I've been around for quite some years, and I've seen a lot of large multinationals in Europe changing their supply chain processes, and would like to share my experiences with you and give you some tips. And I will do so based on a framework that we have developed at the DiLX organization. So based on 20 years of experience in developing solutions to optimize logistics processes, we have created this framework that we feel to being important for anyone moving to a fully digitalized and augmented supply chain. And in the next slides, I will give a short explanation of each of these components and why we feel that these components are that important. Some of these components you might already have in place, some not. It is important that these components are all seamlessly integrated with each other, but can also work independently from each other. Next slide, please. So a first step moving towards a augmented supply chain is establishing the integrations between systems like your finance system or your warehousing system, forwarding or transport planning system, or even with systems outside your company walls, like the systems from your customers, your suppliers, or carriers. These integrations can be very complex, check with your partner for their experience in this area and check if the technology used is compatible with your own IT infrastructure and ready for the years to come. To give an example, nowadays working with APIs is quite a common way of integrating, yet I have learned that some IT suppliers do not support this way of integration. Next slide, please. So once these adapters are in place, data can be extracted and pushed back into your systems of record. Most likely, these different systems use different data structures. They speak different languages, and you will need a translator to bring all of these languages together, have them speak the same language, and create one single source of truth without data getting lost in translation. When looking for a partner, make sure your partner also brings the communication platform to creating this one single source of truth. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are no longer trendy buzzwords, but they're actually being used. These innovations are ready for use and can play an important role in making your data smart and creating a competitive advantage. Look for a partner that is experienced in using these latest technologies. Next slide, please. So when you have managed to have all data from all different systems speak the same language, it is time to connect these pieces together and create a kind of a mini blockchain or a baby blockchain. And by doing so, you are creating the foundation to support all of your processes that you wish to optimize. When looking for a partner to help you create this foundation, do not only focus on the technology at hand to create this foundation, but also look for logistics expertise and experience. Many times I have seen supply chain optimization projects fail, and not because of the ICT solution provider not having the right technology in place, but because their engineers or consultants lacked a good understanding of logistics and the way a supply chain operates. Next slide, please. After having created your own mini blockchain, you are very close to establishing a collaborative platform to bring all of your supply chain stakeholders together and have them work on the same set of information. So to give you an example, if you are a shipper, you can arrange for your suppliers and logistic service providers to have access to your dock planning overview and have them book time slots to load or unload at times that are most efficient for all involved. And same goes for the planning of returns in case of reverse logistics or the booking of trucks and ocean containers with carriers. Although you do want everyone to work on the same data set, you do not want everyone to have the same viewing and or creating rights. A supplier or a logistic service provider needs to have access to different information than an internal logistics manager in charge of transport planning. But they will both be working on exactly the same transactions. By making use of role-based portals built on SaaS technology, you can realize 24/7 self-service portals accessible from any device like a mobile phone or an iPad or laptop for that matter. Now, using these standard portals based on best practices can shorten the time to market and help you benefit from lessons learned from other projects. But when looking for a partner, I suggest to also look for a partner that can easily, and with easily I mean quickly and cost efficient, deliver tailor-made portals that are specific to your specific project. Next slide, please. So nowadays, a supply chain control tower functionality is no longer a nice to have. I mean, it was a buzzword for, I would say, 10, 15 years. You could see that in all the seminars and get-togethers. Everyone was speaking about it, but nobody was actually doing something with it. But nowadays, there are a lot of functionalities available to really create a supply chain control tower. It ensures an engagement control across trading partners and orchestrates shipments, entities, people, and modalities to work together in a real-time environment. This control tower functionality allows logistics companies to monitor, track, inform, rectify, and manage the shipment lifecycle throughout the supply chain. Next slide, please. So in the Netherlands, we have a saying, one cannot see the wood from the trees. And in today's context, it is easy to get lost because of an information overflow. Personalized dashboards with KPIs will help focus on those processes or transactions that need focus. Have your employees or even your trading partners focus on what matters to them by giving them access to business intelligence tools that are built on latest technologies. And when selecting your IT partner, I advise you to get a good understanding of the business intelligence or business analytic tool being used. Because I've seen from close that suppliers are using outdated reporting functionalities and are pitching these as business analytics tools. And in practice, that means that they are using outdated technology to create customer-specific reports. And these reports would have to be created by technical consultants from the IT provider, which resulted, in many cases, in very frustrating, time-consuming, and costly exercises. Next slide, please. So when you've got these reports and KPI dashboards in place, you will have access to static reports to report on exceptions like missing delivery times or items missing in customer deliveries. And that is a good step towards understanding the inefficiencies and bottlenecks within your own end-to-end supply chain processes. But it will not help you preventing exceptions from happening again at the time they are about to happen. And often you are just too late in the day to do proper damage control with all parties involved. So next to a traditional exception alerting tools like emails and text messages, live chat solutions can provide real-time support for seamless communication with your stakeholder ecosystem, reducing the number of emails, calls, inquiries, and elevating the overall customer experience. My advice? Look for a partner with a complete offering on exception management and alerting. Next slide, please. So, of the functionalities to help you plan your shipments more efficiently are an essential component of any system to automate your supply chain. Of course, your system of choice should take into account planned and realized times of departure, arrival, and show you the impact on the transport costs, and preferably taking also into account surcharges across all modalities of transport. And if you're using your own fleet of trucks, or maybe you're working with a dedicated outsourced fleet of trucks, you would want the system to optimize the routes and scheduling of the vehicles. This will save you time in the planning process itself. It will reduce delivery times and reduce overall transport costs. But this is all still very straightforward. I would encourage anyone to continuously look for optimization possibilities by frequently running what if scenarios and simulations. What if I move my distribution center from the UK to Poland? What kind of impact will that have on my lead times, my warehousing and transport costs? Or what happens if I open up certain trading lanes for other carriers than the one carrier that I work together with today? I have seen several examples where these kinds of simulations helped companies saving many millions of euros on an annual base. Next slide, please. So finally, my last slide for today is really around the question of what is the best approach? Should I go for a provider that will bring me a standard SaaS solution. I mean, by doing so, you will benefit from standard functionalities that have been developed based on best practices from other customers. But sometimes these standard solutions do not work that well with your business processes. Modifications required to making these standard solutions work for you might have a very disruptive effect on your business. They take a long time to realize and can be very expensive if you choose to work with a partner whose business is fully focused on building standard SaaS solutions. So I'm not saying what kind of partner you should look for, but maybe it would be best to look for a partner that can bring you standard solution. And on top of that, a smart way of creating tailor-made solutions that are specific to your organization. Because maybe there is no need to go through a large, expensive, and painful project to replace your current systems and change your processes. In that case, look for a partner that has the organization in place to co-create solutions with you, private or white label. These were some of my takeaways from the last 10 years working in supply chain optimization projects. I hope that you find them useful. That's it for me for today. Thank you. And I hereby give the word to Allard from Nijhoff.
Thank you, Lucas. Good morning, everyone. My name is Allard Nijhoff. I joined Nijhoff Wassink in February this year. With my team, I'm responsible for feed support, and that meaning that we provide the business information through data. And that's why I've been invited for this webinar to tell you a little bit about our relationship with DiLX. First, I would like to tell you something about our organization. Nijhoff Wassink has been founded in 1967, so it's over 50 years. It started as a transportation company, and what you can see here on the slide is that the scope of products we offer has been expanded over the last 50 years. So apart from the logistics, you see the feed logistics through bulk transportations and chemical logistics. We also have got the Nijwa Group, who is a big company in providing Volvo trucks to our customers and selling them. Could you please go to the next slide? Okay, yeah, as I said, I'm with my team responsible to support the business with information about the feed logistics. So therefore, I want to show you how the chain is built up. Feed logistics is transporting feed from feed manufacturers to the end customers, which are the farmers in Europe. What you can see, there are multiple parties involved. It starts at the farmer who is needing feed for cows, for instance. Then the order is going into the system to the feed manufacturer, and the feed manufacturer is producing and is ordering transportations in most of the cases, but sometimes they have got their own fleet of trucks as well and wanting to bring that to the customer. You see there's a lot of information between different parties and of course in different systems, and that's the whole trick. What we Nijhoff Wassink wants to do is to be a service provider who is helping manufacturers to serve their needs. So basically they come to us and ask us to do planning and actually bring the products on the right time, in the right conditions to the farmers in such a way that also the products have been picked up at the factory in time, so there is no delay in the factory and loss of efficiencies. But the main thing what you can take away from this slide is that there are many parties involved with many different systems. The transport or the trucker has got his board computer. The farmer is entering an order on a web portal. The manufacturer has got his ERP systems. And you need to find a way how you bring all that information together. Could you please go to the next slide? Yeah, so one of the main objectives for Nijhoff Wassink was to find a way how to automate an end-to-end feed logistic process. So basically how to connect all those infos together. And that was basically the main thing. What I said, I started in February, and I was surprised positively about how Nijhoff Wassink together with DiLX took this approach to see how can we bring that together. We basically have got two-step scenarios. The first step is actually connect all the parties together. That's how we do that, is with Feed to Connect. It's an easy way how you get multiple systems connected into the solution that DiLX developed. And the second step is basically do something with the information you have. So basically providing information through dashboarding, KPI reporting, but that helps the customers to see where do I need to put my efforts on to improve processes. And that's the second thing, is basically helping the customers to see where they need to focus. Where do I need to put efforts on to improve? If you can go to the next slide. So here you see some on the left-hand side, you see some of the analysis we do for our customers. So order book analysis, operational control, visuals, dashboards. So we came to one of our biggest customers and said, hey, this is what we have for you as a solution. It can help you to connect. So basically reduce or automate order entry or all kind of manual processes, and gives you overview of your order book. And one of the feedbacks that we got from our customers says, oh, it's nice that you show our order pattern, but at the end of the day, we know what our order pattern is. What we would like to understand is where do we have deviations from the plan? And then more importantly, that you help us to dive into those exceptions and to see what is the root cause of it, and to look together to find preventive measurements to improve the process. And I think that's the key of what we want to deliver with our Feed to Connect and Feed to Control platform, developed together with DiLX, to help customers to give an overview of where are exceptions and find ways to improve them. And I think if you work together with your customer to do that, you get all the areas below. So improved customer service, supply performance. It will have a positive effect on your spend and assets utilization. So I think that's for Nijhoff Wassink the main goal of implementing these solutions together with DiLX. And what I've worked with, I've worked a long period for Xerox. Xerox is a big printer manufacturer in the world. We had our own IT staff. I find it very difficult in that stage to make changes. The positive thing of Nijhoff Wassink together with DiLX is that we have got a good relationship with people in the Netherlands who can help to translate what we want to develop to the team in India and actually build a solution. And I think that is the big positive of working with DiLX. Yeah, those are the main takeaways or main points I experienced over the couple of months I'm in Nijhoff Wassink with DiLX. And this is what I wanted to share with you.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Allard, Lucas, and Fredric, for sharing your wonderful thoughts and experiences. Now we will be moving to the Q&A session, where I have received around 18 questions from our audiences. But looking at the time constraint, I will pick up 2 or 3 questions for now, and for rest of the questions we will answer over the emails. So first question, one of our participant asked is that I'm really interested and excited seeing the endless possibilities by creating digital solutions on top of systems of the record. Can I see the demonstrations of some of the solutions? So Shaival, can our audience see the demonstrations of our solutions?
Yeah, sure. I think, it would be nice idea if we can get the contact details of the participants and we arrange the demo for them on the convenient time.
Okay, sure. So thanks, Ipek Jess, for asking this question. The next question I have is from Christina Jason, and she is saying that we have several partners and suppliers in our ecosystem. Some are there on the legacy system, some are using the COTS products, some have homegrown systems, and some partners are using very, very basic utilities for systems of records. And her question is that we really want to create end-to-end user experience for our customers and employees both, but looking at the disparate IT systems of our partners and suppliers, there is a difficulty in integrations and realizing this vision of creating end-to-end user experience. So can DiLX give us some tips how should basically should be done? Shaival.
Yes. So, as you know, Allard also in his presentation, Lucas also in his presentation, shown the diagram, and the key thing in our solution and framework is the data. So we connect with different system. We allow other system also to connect and share information and pass the data, get the data. So once we have the data in, then our portals and utilities can be aligned to provide all possible or meet all possible objectives of customer.
Okay, great. One last question I can take before we close this session. One of the audience has asked that they are having SAP for their transport and logistics needs. Okay, but they do lack the applications on top of the ERP. So augmented supply chain is looks quite promising. And could you share more details that how you can create applications on top of SAP ERP?
Yeah, sure. Again, I would suggest that to have a demo session plan for the customer, and we show them how we are connecting. If they want the technical information, we can also share technical information during the demo, and we also show the how different way we are connecting and getting the data and what we are doing with our solutions.
Great. Thank you very much, Shaival and Hari, for joining us in Q&A session. So everyone, we have our presence in almost all the countries in Europe, and we have local offices in Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland, Belgium, and Netherlands and UK. And you can reach out to our local team, or you can reach out to sales@deluxe.co. We would arrange demonstrations of the solutions, and also we would give more details around how you can create user experience on top of whatever the data you have, and how can you integrate with your partners, suppliers, customers, and customers, and create the workflow based user experience for them. So my takeaway from this session is that we have seen from Lucas, Fredric, and Allard that data movement is what makes businesses running. So everything is data basically. Of course, money makes businesses running, but I would say that now data makes businesses running. And successful digital transformation is the one that makes the data journey among stakeholders meaningful. So what I mean to say is that each and every datum should travel optimally and with a purpose to get the business objectives done. So I would like to hear your takeaways from this session, and we have very short survey at the end of the webinar for you. And we would arrange a demonstration for you guys. The survey is very short. It has only 3 questions. And so thank you very much, everyone, for attending today's session. Have a good day, good evening, good night. Thank you very much.